This morning, the summit was in the usual thick, wet cloud, but clouds cleared. The temperature is 57 degrees and the wind is from the west at 36 to 39 miles per hour.
There's this hill in Boulder near a lake, and my dad would take me there. Looking at it now, it would be 20 seconds to sprint up, but as a 6, 8-year-old, whatever, it was the biggest hill. The little corner market had those long Jolly Ranchers for 11 cents. And my dad said if I could get to the top of the hill, he'd buy me Jolly Ranchers. I was genetically a mountain specialist, and he was. So it's kind of become my overriding desire this whole final season, kind of morphed back into that. Doing everything right one last time so that I can, finish at peace.
It's possible. We got work to do, but if we get a good win, or no win, we see.
This is my final pro season, and for me, it's all about doing it right one last time with the belief that a beautiful moment will come at one of these dang races.
Butts in seats. Some yummy salmon fish? It's your favorite, Layla.
Beyond that, though, I'll have to reframe what success looks like on the bike.
Thanks, bud.
Learning how to bike race as an up-and-coming teenager, shaving my legs, covered in road rash.
Oh, this looks like first pedal strokes, learning how to ride a bike.
That's gonna grind Diana's gears. We brought our bikes to a family vacation. My dad and uncle were the dynamic duo brothers of professional cycling in the 70s and 80s. So I was a young kid during the whole Lance Armstrong era and when road cycling was really booming, and quickly found my way onto the national team and into Europe and into the world tour and the major leagues, and yeah, had a good long career, not without its own hiccups though. In 2019, this thing called gravel started to boom. Had this aha moment where I could be a professional and race domestically, and so I jumped ship, and yeah, it's almost been, the third act of my career.
I don't want to be the has-been who's like still hanging on against the young kids, because that's honestly, to me, that's a story that I don't want for myself.
So it's like the sooner you figure out what your next thing is, the longer you get to enjoy that thing.
I met Pete when I was 17. We both focused on our own careers, but I've always supported him for long training rides and, helping him recover after crashes and getting the blood out of the sheets.
I think also just for me, I feel like I've been waiting for this for so long. And so when you're like 6 more weeks, I'm like, no, like we were almost there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to make sacrifices.
I guess, yeah. To be competitive, your job is your body, and that's always in the back of your mind. If we go on a vacation, the bike comes. If you're dealing with a screaming toddler at night, it's like, oh, it's affecting your sleep and your job the next day, and it's never just normal family.
Anyone who pursues their career to a certain extent, whether it's in sport or anything, is selfish. You have to be. But it does get harder when you have these adorable little faces asking you, why do you have to go today?
Where do garbage trucks sleep when they've done collecting trash? Do their dads sniff their load and say, P.U., time to take a bath?
Lay in your suitcase.
Where do monsters trucks sleep when they've done a day of crushing? Do they find a giant puddle when their metal teeth need brushing?
In the 5 years I've been working with Pete, probably done 100 races, probably swapped, I don't know, thousands of tires, driven thousands of miles. We've only listened to one audiobook. And sometimes in the summer, it feels like I'm spending more time with Pete than I am with my own wife. A lot of professional male athletes have a tendency to hang on too long. Ego's got something to do with it, but it's because of fear more than anything. I know he's gonna try every once in a while to come back and you know, make sure the young guns know who he still is. But I think it's gonna be a challenge for him to, you know, not be on the pointy end of the race anymore.
Yeah, there is a fear. I'm worried that letting go of professional racing will lead to a loss of normalcy.
I would not be too stressed about it, but we are going all in.
I feel like the tactic is better to not overpace, but like get a good lead, like on pace for a 48, if you think that's possible.
I mean, I calculated a little bit to aim for 49 minutes.
Okay.
So that means that we need to go 8 seconds per kilometer faster.
Welcome back to Breakfast with Boz, being served by Wahoo. I'm your host, Ian Boswell, with Pete Stetina. Why are we here? Why are we in New Hampshire?
We're here for the Mount Washington Hillclimb. It's steeped in American cycling history, and it's been going for since the 70s. There's no UCI rules, so we got to really make the lightest bike. Everything has been stripped down. Every bolt has been swapped out for the lightest tie bolts Wayne could find.
5.96 kilos.
What are the stats of the Mount Washington Hillclimb?
12.1 kilometers at 12.6%. Generally, prevailing winds are almost always headwinds. My dad had the record for almost 20 years. He set it in 1980.
So this is as much chasing family legacy as it is a way to put my stamp on my career.
You raced in the Tour de France, you raced in the Giro, you've won the Traca. Like, have you had the opportunity yet to reflect on what you have accomplished?
I don't think I've really looked back, but I think I've started to realize that in terms of pure racing, I don't think it gets better from here.
It's hard to know when to hang it up, and very few people can make that choice on their own volition.
Yeah, it's a conscious decision, and it's a scary one, but I really hope Mount Washington's a feather in the cap. I'm kind of nervous because I've put a lot of eggs in this basket, so it's the first time in a few years I've had true butterflies.
I'm at the finish line with beautiful weather today.
Okay, good copy. For the Mount Washington Hillclimb, net control, standing by. All stations, the first wave of riders is on the course.
It is an absolutely gorgeous day up here. Welcome to the 52nd Mount Washington race, and those riders are flying.
Records are meant to be broken. I really hope it's a feather in the cap. if I get it, if, like that's a big asterisk, like.
6 to 57, we're 8:35, 6 to 4 was 45 seconds behind us.
Okay, copy that. We'll try to keep track up here.
I'm kind of nervous because I put a lot of eggs in this basket.
He did everything he could have done to prepare for this event, with the one snafu of the kids giving him the cold last week. But otherwise, like, he lost the weight he wanted to lose. He did the very specific training.
I've had my fairy tales in this space. My wife and family, like, they're ready for me to be done.
Are you actually going to retire, or are you just going to keep
kicking the can down the road?
Top-notch group is running at 31 minutes.
This is going to be the last time that I ever go up a mountain this fast. It's one last test.
Number 57 is at 4.5 miles already.
Your identity is professional cyclist. Like, I'm worried about what it'll be like without that. A bit of a midlife crisis, probably.
We could be seeing some new records today.
I'm wired to fight back and push back and do it again. I want to do this one more time. I want to do that race one more time. Maybe if I just tried a little harder on the diet, the altitude.
Knowing I did it all 100% one last time.
I want that fairy tale. All those little things
that are so hard with a growing family.
These high highs, these low lows.
They're ready for me to be done.
This is going to be the last time to squeeze my lemon fully, doing everything right one more time to Heightened.
Number 6 has just crossed the finish line, 15.17. 15.17. Finish line, go ahead.
Yeah, we had male rider number 57 crossed, total time 51 minutes, 36 seconds.
Yeah.
Got Gatorade and water in here.
I'm fine. I don't want it. No.
You don't want it?
Yeah. How did I flop it so bad? I wonder if it is this sinus infection. I talked this thing up too much too. Let the world down. Thanks for coming out here with me.
I wouldn't have missed it.
Huh?
I said I wouldn't have missed it.
You know, I called my mom and I was like, you know, yeah, I think I didn't even get to give it my all. I think I need to go back and try one more time on my own terms. And she didn't even like waste a breath or bat an eye. She just was like, yeah, that's in your nature. That's what your dad would have done. That's what your grandpa would have done. Like, that's the Stetina in you. If they didn't get it right, we would do it again and again and again and again. And I'm struggling to change that pathway. It's kind of weird when your vocation is also your passion. Like, I love going to these events. I want to keep doing these. So I'm excited to see what it looks like from a different angle, to just participate without the expectation and pressure.
I feel like we both have a realization that either people are getting faster or we're getting slower, and there's like, I better do this while I still can. Like, you know, it's becoming harder to, have these kind of like marquee performances compared to when we were in our 20s or even early 30s.
No, I think, life is changing fast, and the end is coming soon for me in terms of my pro racing days. I'm the old vet now.
All right. Well, have a good day, guys. We're gonna drive down this mountain really quick, and then,
There's a Layla.
Then it's mommy's turn for vacation.
Are you wearing Thomas jammies?
Like, I know for me it's time, but like, I love the bike and I love the space too much to just stop cold turkey. I can't let it go. I gotta feed the rat. If I call you in 2027 and say, Dom, I'm thinking of making a comeback, you better slap me.